Hey guys, welcome back to Lush Aqua. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I do a major water change in my planet aquariums. I've done an 80% water change right now in this specific planet aquarium, and I'll show you step by step how I did that. So maybe if you want to do a major water change in your plant tank as well, you could follow these steps and get that done. Now the main reason why you would want to do such a major water change, I know a lot of hobbyists don't go beyond the 50% mark, but why you would want to do a 75% water change, firstly is when you're converting your plants from immersed to submerged, especially when you're using tissue culture plants. When the planet tank is brand new, you would want to do multiple water changes and high volume water changes as well to keep things stable in your planet tank. Now if you follow the steps in this video, you're not going to end up losing any fish as well. I know that is another concern in a lot of hobbyists' mind, that when we do a major water change, anything above 50%, we end up losing fish. Now there are two common factors why people lose fish when they do a water change, whether that's a major water change or a minor water change, 20% or 80%. One is temperature shock. Your source water, when you add it to your tank, has a different temperature than your tank water, and your fish end up getting a temperature shock and dying. The other is chlorine shock. If your source water has a high amount of chlorine in it and you add it into your aquarium without adding a good water conditioner, you would end up killing your fish as well. So these are two things you need to keep in mind. One is add the water slowly if there's a huge temperature difference between your source water and your tank water. And also use a good water conditioner. But without wasting any time further, let me go ahead and show you how I did the water change on this planet tank, so you get an idea as well. There are three tools I've used to clean the aquarium from the inside. One is a brush, the other is a sponge, and the third thing is a card. Now this sponge is a glass sponge. You would get it in your general store. It is just it's known as a glass sponge. It doesn't leave scratches on your glass, so you can use this as well while cleaning your aquarium. But you got to start off with a card. Now you use the card to remove any hard algae from the glass itself. You need to do this on all four sides of the aquarium. I'll start off with the front glass and then I'll move to the other sides of the aquarium. Now we use a card to remove any hard algae from the glass, and then after that we could go ahead and use a brush. The brush is used to remove any algae that is left off by the card itself. Also the brush is soft, so you could clean the silicone edges of the tank with the brush itself. I wouldn't suggest doing it with the card. Sometimes you might puncture the silicone, so do this step with the brush. One thing I forgot mentioning is I am very comfortable doing the cleaning of my tank with the water filled. You could or you would want to reduce the water before cleaning the tank itself. If you don't want to make a mess, sometimes when you dip your hand too deep, you would have a lot of water that would overflow from the tank, so be careful of that. I am used to this, so I could do it without a problem. Now after using the brush, I would go ahead and use the sponge. The sponge removes any algae left, if at all. I'm sure after the card and the brush you wouldn't have that much algae, but the sponge covers more surface area and it's easy to use, so I use the sponge as well. After using the sponge to clean all the four sides, you would see that all the algae and the dirt from the glasses have gone and settled on the substrate itself. So this is the time we would need to siphon out all this dirt. So let's start siphoning. Now this specific tank has a lot of carpet plants, so you would want to tap the carpet plant and remove any detritus on the base layer of the substrate. You could follow what I'm doing right here to do this step. It is very effective, and you would want to have a very clean substrate, especially if you're growing a lot of carpet plants, because carpet plants are very close to the substrate, so any detritus on the substrate level would build up into ammonia and affect the plant growth and the plant leaves as well. So if you have a carpet plant only tank, or you wish to grow a carpet plant well, you would want to siphon the substrate very well. Now after doing that step, all you need to do is drain the tank. I'm going to drain it till about 80%. So let's drain the tank now. Now once we are done draining the water, we need to refill the tank. So I'm going to start refilling the tank. While doing this step, as I mentioned earlier, you would want to use a very good water conditioner. I'm not going to mention any brands right now, but whatever you use, just make sure it removes your chlorine, chloramine and heavy metals. The plants don't get very affected by heavy metals. They are able to absorb a lot of heavy metals, but the fish would get affected with high amount of heavy metals depending on your source water. So I would suggest using a very good water conditioner. So that is how I did an 80% water change on this planted aquarium. Now I've done it an hour ago, but you can see none of the fish look stressed, none of them had died. So all you need to follow is a good water conditioner and the right water temperature while adding the water back, and it's not going to affect your fish at all. You could add another step to this. You could go ahead and add some beneficial bacteria when you're doing a major water change. I'm not doing that right now, but you could do that as well. But that's it for this video, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Lush Aqua. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Take care.